Ryan Stone, SmartSky, one of the most competitive aspects of the avionics community under the big broad term of connectivity. We keep expecting the various members of that community to show up with baseball bats and just fight it out on the floor. But so far we're behaving.
We're showing up with new antennas and radios, and we're fighting it out on the MRO floor, OEM floor, and then in the skies.
There we go. Let's out-innovate them rather than beat them up. So
yes.
That works. Tell me what's the latest and greatest with SmartSky, first of all.
So Jim, thanks for having us. SmartSky is having a phenomenal year. In the past, we'd focused on getting our network launched and live and getting customers onboarded, and now we're through that phase, and now it's the growth phase. So we have customers, those customers are raving about the service, whether they're on small aircraft like King Airs, CJ3s, Pilatus, Phenom 100, all the way up to the heavies. We just launched a Latitude last month. You got a runner.
Yeah, there we go.
We launched a Latitude, we're on other Falcons, and what we're seeing is a realization that everyone talked about for the longest time, and you alluded to it in your opening, which is that we've been sort of bottlenecked as an industry in connectivity, dealing with legacy technologies, and there's been a lot of innovation, and now for the first time, you have in the US 25,000 business aircraft, and yet almost none of them have a high-speed, bidirectional, low-latency connection, which is what you have in your house and your office. And so we're literally greenfield in that sense, but also the market that has been exposed to connectivity is now going through an upgrade cycle. So they know what they had, and now they get blown away by what is now available from us and then other suppliers that are starting to bring their wares to the market. So it's a very exciting time for SmartSky.
How do you differentiate yourself in this uber competitive market that now has attracted the likes of Elon Musk and God knows who's next at this stage of the game, but everybody has their hook, their way to stake a claim to a singular piece of the market. What's yours?
So for us, I would say we are the only solution that is high performance at an affordable price. So you can spend a lot of money on some exotic satellite systems and get mostly high performance, but maybe you sacrifice on latency or the return link. We have the complete package of high speeds to the plane, high speeds off the plane, low latency. Every passenger can do what they want on their devices, and we can do that for a small aircraft at 99 bucks an hour, unlimited data. And if you're in a larger aircraft, you can be at our hourly plan, and you're paying like $225 an hour for the same thing. And to be able to have unlimited data and just do what you need to do, that is game changing for the industry at a low price point.
Well, the reason we run around in these airplanes is to go out and do business and do things, and yet that period of time when we're airborne or have to support the flight that we're on or the business that we're doing, it becomes critical. I told the story with one of the other operators the other day of a CJ3 I was crewing on for a while with the former chairman of the board of the Bob Hoover Legacy Foundation, for which I get to serve as executive director, but a guy by the name of Tracy Forrest, and I'll tell you what, the minute we were off the ground, he's going, your airplane, and he has his laptop out, and he's doing things and getting things done, and this, that, and the other, and do you want to do barbecue in Texas? I'll set the reservation up now. And I mean, and then at the same time, he's got business being done consistently, and no matter what the price was then, it was how he did business. It's how he could afford to do business.
That's right.
And it's an extraordinary technology that actually makes the airplane even more valuable.
To put it in perspective, because everyone uses the internet for different things and at different times for different things. So you may be very productive Monday through Friday, but on the weekends you want to kick back and watch Netflix while you're going to your vacation home or whatever your needs are. And it strikes me as really interesting. Like today, we just had one of our customers do a flight from Charlotte to LAX, and they used 8.75 gigabytes of data.
Darn.
On one flight. The monthly plans in the past
somebody
from
was on
competitors,
the Playboy channel.
It was 5 gigabytes for a month. We did almost 9 gigabytes on one flight. And that's not, like, it's just possible. That's what happens when you can start to really move data and use data, and then you don't think about it anymore. It just is an extension of the office, and then it's what's next. Like, how can you use the services of high-speed connectivity for not just the cabin, but the cockpit and operations, like better weather, all sorts of things that we all rely on and sometimes take for granted in flight planning on the ground. Now you have that real time in the air as well.
Outstanding. Talk about the SmartSky installation. What does it take? How does it affect the aircraft? What kind of equipment is involved? Weights, installation issues, and things of that nature as compared to everything else that's out there.
Sure. A SmartSky installation is extremely similar to an air-to-ground installation that many of you are familiar with and have done in the past. We have a radio that goes, it can go outside the pressure hull, so it just depends on your aircraft and the STC as to where it would go. A lot of times they're in the back cargo area, although on some of the other aircraft we're doing right now, they're going in the nose side, avionics bay. You have a cable that connects to a single antenna for our light system for the smaller aircraft.
Okay.
Or you'd have multiple cables if we have our flagship system, which is 2 antennas for the larger aircraft. And then inside the cabin, we allow the customer to choose a cabin wireless access point that they like, the cabin router. So many customers may already have a system, and then we just plug our system into that, or it can be something where they want a new cabin wireless access point. So for instance, the Honeywell Go Direct router as an example, Satcom Direct router, we have installations with both. And there's also a GPS antenna that goes on top for position and timing information. From a time perspective, the downtime is around 10 to 14 days, depending. So if you're doing an annual, it's a good time to get that done, or a phase check. On our STC first-of-a-kind projects, the downtime has been about 3 to 4 weeks. So it's really not that much longer, even for the first article. But it's really convenient. And again, we're trying to hit those price points, flyaway pricing, before rebates of $175K and less for those light systems, and about say $175 to $225, $250 for the flagship. And then of course, we're not using baseball bats, we're using rebate bats. So
which may do some more damage depending on who you're dealing with.
So for the large aircraft, they can get up to $50,000 cash back, and for the smaller ones, up to $35,000 or $25,000. So it can really be an affordable install.
Outstanding, interesting. The regulatory environment around connectivity right now. What are your observations of how that's being handled, and what issues do you see for the future?
So mostly the regulatory environment for connectivity is very benign when it comes to how we've been doing it. We're all level E equipment, so in that sense, it's not safety critical and benign. There are some nuances. Recently, the FAA has been looking at re-looking at how it interprets its own Section 251 of the FARs on vibe and buffeting for analysis. So some of us were now having to do some analyses and flight tests that we didn't have to do before. No one's ever had a problem with this, but we're just doing it differently now because of FAA request. But I think where it gets interesting is when you think about these cockpit applications and messaging traffic that maybe we relied on traditional safety grade paths, but they're very expensive and slow, and you can send messages reliably using our system and other systems that are out there over internet protocol. And we're seeing that a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets integrated, because we can guarantee the message delivery, we can know that it came, and we can do it very fast and at a fraction of the price. So you can improve cockpit communications, logistics, and all the like. And then we have to integrate advanced air mobility and air traffic control. I think there's a lot of room for upgrade there. That's still more the old system that you look at.
Also, a lot of black magic still involved there, so we'll see how that all works out in the end. There is a bloodbath coming in that community, but the technology that survives, I think, is going to be fascinating.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd use the word bloodbath. That seems to be an overused word recently.
Oh, yeah, good point.
But I would say this. I would say that the air traffic control system is ripe for modernization. And the tools are all there. If you talk to everyone on the floor, you talk to at our Gamma board meetings, and we talk to the people who are manufacturing the new vehicles, you have the technical capability to have autonomous vehicles today, right now.
Yeah.
We have systems that automate so many things. It's just how do you infuse that into the regulatory environment to where a controller can look at their screen and go, yes, I'm comfortable with this. The pilot says yes, and they both click yes, and then the magic happens in the machines. So there's still human in the loop, but make it easier on the human in the loop.
It'll be fascinating times, to say the least, as we go forward with all this. So what is the future of SmartSky at this point? Where do you see the whole program going, and what do you want the company to do?
It's a great question. We were founded on the vision of disrupting aviation communications and developing the next generation of digital aviation infrastructure. And step one was get the network built and show everyone that this is really possible and can change their lives. We've now done that, check. Second step, scale. We haven't yet done that. We're in the process of scaling and getting these benefits out to more and more customers. And whether it's us or some of the newer systems that are out there, you're going to see a resurgence in connectivity and useful connectivity now that there's minimum viable performance has been established in the market. Then it's what do you do with it? And that's where the digital aviation applications come into play, making it easier for the cockpit crew, schedulers, dispatchers. The whole journey gets digitized. And that's, I think, what's really exciting is if you look back terrestrially at what happened with the internet, and when you went from 3G to 4G and what it did to transform our lives on the ground, that transformation hasn't yet happened in the air. And we're now on the cusp of it coming. You can really feel it.
How can people get more information on the SmartSky product line, and most important, what part of the industry are you addressing now, and what will you be addressing in the future?
Sure. So anyone who wants more information, the easiest way to get it is to go to our website, smartskynetworks.com, and we have contact us form. If you fill that out, someone will get back in touch with you. Or if you're here, just come see us at the show floor or one of the shows where we attend all the major industry events, so we're always there. What was the second question? I'm sorry.
Oh, just looking at the position, what part of the market you were looking at now, and what parts of the market are you targeting for the future?
So traditionally, the connectivity market has been focused on about 10,000 of the 25,000 airplanes, and everyone's sort of gone after that same segment of super mids and up. We have a solution that offers streaming level capability to small aircraft for $99 an hour. There's 15,000 turboprops, very light jets and light jets who have been left out and now don't have to be. You have a solution that's there for you, and that's where I really see us really making a mark. And then on the heavier side, we've been making customers happy. We'll be a great augment to their existing SATCOM systems, or as a standalone for those customers that really are just domestic missions and don't go internationally.
Well, you've been a fun company to watch, and we're looking forward to much more of that in the future. Please keep us up to date. Aero-News is 24/7, 365, so we're always looking for the latest, greatest, and most fascinating news we can find. You guys have done that several times, and let's keep it up.
Well, we like to keep you on your toes.
There we go.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate you having us.
Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 67th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Grapevine, Texas, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors: